Kathy Morrison, your certified life coach for the soul. Thank you for joining me today for another coach conversation. And today I'm going to be discussing emotional intelligence and a certain area of emotional intelligence which can help us learn to deal with emotional distress. Now, emotional intelligence is usually defined by being able to, monitor and regulate your own emotions so that you're more prepared for a similar situation the next time. A situation or a circumstance that may have caused, you to have emotional distress. Now, emotional distress can be caused by trying to suppress any stress you may be experiencing without literally dealing with it or just trying to understand what happened and why, or why you feel the way you feel, or why what happened made you feel the way you feel. So emotional distress, like I said, can be suppressing your stress without really trying to find a significant or a way of, I guess, intelligently dealing with that emotionally to where you're not so that you don't become overwhelmed or even more stressed, by the circumstance or the situation or by the person that may have caused it or the situation that may have caused it. Now, there are signs of emotional distress, which can include and they're kind of similar to the symptoms of depression, but maybe not as severe or as serious at that time. Emotional distress signs or symptoms can be you feel overwhelmed, you feel underprepared to handle whatever situation you may be experiencing. You may feel that you're just not in a good mood. You don't feel like you're in a good place. You get really tired. Really don't have energy to do the things that you probably would once like to do or have enjoyed in the past. You tend to probably sleep more, or you may experience the opposite. You may not be able to sleep at all because you're filled with some type of anxiety, which prevents you from relaxing enough to rest and to go to sleep. And sometimes what normally happens in some cases, when a person is experiencing emotional distress, they start to rely on using some type of substance, such as alcohol, or taking medication to help them relax. And if you get too used to using things and alcohol or some other type of drug to enhance you to become sleepy or to rest, you could become dependent on that in a way that affects you negatively, and you do not have the capacity to relax normally, without the help or the aid of some type of medication. So those are certain signs of emotional distress, and that's why it's important to use your emotional intelligence to learn how to process your emotions as well as manage them. And you do that by learning and recognizing those circumstances, situations, or even people that trigger emotional distress in you or trigger some other type of emotional reaction or response that causes you to become more distressed, as opposed to learning how to deal with that in a way that does not cause you additional stress and distress at that time. And we learn to do that by finding a way to recognize it, those triggers. Even if it's a person, we have to learn to avoid that person or that situation in the future so that it doesn't have the same type of effect on us. And I know it's not easy, and sometimes it can be rather complicated because there are various signs of emotional distress. It can be caused by a person in a relationship with you. It can even be a work situation because you are having emotional distress on your job because you're either worried about whether or not you're going to have a job, or you're worried about your job performance, or you're concerned about your interaction with a manager or another coworker that may not be, bringing out the best in you. And so you become a little anxious and a little worried about it. And in the workplace, it's very important, just as it is in your personal life, to be able to recognize who or what triggers your emotional distress, which causes, anxiety and a lack of contentment and peace in that work environment, or in that relationship, or even in that family situation. So in dealing with emotional distress, it's always good to manage your emotions by learning what triggers certain distresses, or what triggers certain anxieties in you, and you learn your own reactions. You learn to identify how you react in certain situations so that you can prevent it in the future. And that is one of the ways that we overcome emotional distress, is by learning to manage our actions as well as our reactions based on the situation, based on who we're interacting with. So I hope this has been helpful to you today. It's just been a short coach conversation about emotional intelligence and the area of emotional distress. Now, in learning your own emotional intelligence, or becoming intelligent about your emotions personally, there are various areas of emotional intelligence that I'm going to be talking about the next few days, and I hope that you are able to listen, to join me, and to video these coach conversations that will be helpful to you now and in the future. So thank you for listening today. Thank you for being here. I'm always happy that to help others, and I hope that this has been a help to you today. So stay tuned for more coach conversations from Life Coach for the Soul, and I look forward to seeing you then, and look forward to you seeing me. And remember, there's no good way to do bad, and there's no bad way to do good. Thank you, and be blessed. Bye-bye.